Alright guys, so I know I made a couple 4K Blu-ray reviews of each Marvel film back then, a couple years ago, but I really never went into depth of my thoughts on each Marvel film. So today we're starting a new segment on the channel just for phases 1 through 3, and it's going to be called Remembering Phase 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2022. I'm making this video because Phase 4 has been really hit or miss for me, honestly guys, and I just want to remember good Marvel films as of right now, and let's get into it. Alright guys, kicking off with Iron Man. After being held captive in an Afghan cave, billionaire Tony Stark creates a unique weaponized suit of armor to fight against evil. That is the cringiest, basically, synopsis. Get ready, I'm going to be doing it for each of the 6 films in Phase 1. But this film is directed by Jon Favreau. It stars Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Terrence Howard, Jeff Bridges, and Samuel L. Jackson. Guys, I just revisited this film last night on Disney Plus with the IMAX format, which looks beautiful, by the way, if you haven't checked it out. But I just really forgot how phenomenal this film was. This film is definitely in my top 5 Marvel films of all time, but I just want to talk about what I really enjoyed about this film. Jon Favreau killed it directing this film, with Kevin Feige obviously producing. If this film didn't work, we already know that the Marvel Cinematic Universe would not exist. But guys, from start to finish, this film is just fun. I believe it's like 2 hours, 5 minutes, 10 minutes or something like that. But it's a film that's fun, but it's also interesting to watch. It's got a lot of great visual effects, which is crazy too. I'm gonna say this about this video, or this film, and Iron Man 2. The visual effects are so good in this film, and they don't age like shit either. They still hold up to this day. It's got an awesome, cool score, not gonna lie too, and it's got a really great and easy story to follow, with Tony Stark being this billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, very greedy, but then gets humanity towards the end of the film. Talk about a cool character arc, and his character arc for the whole MCU, but it's something about that makes this film really unique. I'm gonna say this right now, Robert Downey Jr. was born to play this role. Everybody knows that too. And Gwyneth Paltrow playing Pepper Potts, I really enjoy her as well, playing that character. And I like Jeff Bridges as playing Obadiah Stane or Ironmonger. I love Jeff Bridges as an actor. I really do. Terrence Howard, I really wanted to kind of see him go on in the MCU. I don't mind Don Cheadle. He's a fine actor. He fits the role as Rhodey, and I believe him being Rhodey as of right now, but I really wanted to see what Terrence Howard could have done as the role, and I feel like he would have done maybe even a bit better of a job. But I have to admit, guys, all the details in this film, from Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, I love how he creates each suit, how he creates his arc reactor for his chest. I love how he does all these little like flight tests, everything like that. All these little details makes this film fun to watch, and it's very entertaining and unique, and it's just something about it, just like you really understand every single thing about what Tony is doing, what he's building, why he's doing what he's doing. It's something very unique. I keep saying the word unique because we don't really get that these days, and I just love how he creates Iron Man. It's fucking awesome. And guys, come on, that post-credit scene talking with Nick Fury, aka Samuel L. Jackson, which want to talk about all-star casting, that's another one right there too, with Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, and him saying, I want to talk to you about the Avenger initiative. Holy fuck. I remember I watched this film, I rented it back in 2008, and remember back then too, I'm like, this is a really cool film. And looking back on it, the film did not age like shit. It still holds up to this day as in my top 5 Marvel films of all time. Guys, Iron Man 2008 is a masterpiece, and I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. The Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner, a scientist on the run from the US government, must find a cure for the monster I'm literally reading this cringy synopsis, for the monster he turns into whenever he loses his temper. This film is directed by Louis Leterrier and stars Edward Norton. I'm gonna say something, guys, a lot of people give this film shit, but this is definitely one of the most underrated Marvel films in the whole MCU of all time. The Incredible Hulk, in my opinion, is a great fucking film. Is there a couple issues I have with the film? Definitely. It's not my top 5 favorite film. It's not in my top 5, but it's a good film. I'm gonna say this right now, and most of you guys will agree too. Edward Norton's Hulk is my favorite Hulk out of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is the type of badass, loose cannon monster Hulk that I want to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which we're getting a baby Hulk basically now. Now, I go back and forth on whether I like Bruce Banner played by Edward Norton better than Mark Ruffalo. Honestly, both of those actors are interchangeable, but it's really Hulk that we all carry, or like all care about. And for the most part, we all love the Hulk that's in The Incredible Hulk. And this film's got an easy story to follow, and I really enjoyed the story too. Where it suffers for me is some of the green tint throughout the film. It's a little too much in the score, and some of the pacing in the second act for me really bothered me. But overall, the Abomination, a badass, not what he is in She-Hulk by whatever. Well, I don't. We'll talk about She-Hulk down the road. But the Abomination in that fucking fight in the street. What was it, in Manhattan? I forgot where it was. But the action, the CGI. I'm not gonna lie, CGI for 2008, 2009 really fucking looked good with the Hulk and Abomination and them two fighting. When Hulk does the fucking clap, it's badass. It really is. I really enjoyed this film, and I don't understand why it gets a lot of hate or it's overlooked. I'm giving The Incredible Hulk an 8 out of 10. Iron Man 2, guys, 2010. With the world aware of his identity of being Iron Man, Tony Stark must contend with both his declining health and a vengeful madman with ties of his father's legacy. Man, these synopses are getting cringier as they go. This film's directed by Jon Favreau. It stars Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle, Mickey Rourke, Scarlett Johansson, and Samuel L. Jackson with Sam Rockwell. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, once again, Iron Man 2, not in my top 5 favorite films of all, or favorite Marvel films of all time, but I really like Iron Man 2. Is it a longer film? Does it have some pacing issues? Definitely, once again, in the second act. Yes, it does. But as the story goes, I really, really dug the story. I love Whiplash. I love Ivan Vanko's character in this film. I love Justin Hammer. I really love Sam Rockwell. Who doesn't love Sam Rockwell? Scarlett Johansson being an all-star casting as playing Black Widow. Oh, fuck yeah. Samuel L. Jackson reprising his role as Nick Fury. Tony creating his element arc reactor, when I love that story of his arc reactors basically killing him now, and he needs to come up with a new element, but he's too lazy and too much of a drunk to figure out what he wants to do, and he's just trying to give up. The action, once again, the action and visual effects in this film are fucking awesome. I remember I forgot where the race sequence with Whiplash and Iron Man, that was a cool fucking action sequence, no joke. And I really do like the Malibu house fight with Iron Man and War Machine, or Rhodey. I really like that sequence too, and I really enjoyed Killbox sequence towards the end of the film where it's Iron Man in the Mark 6? Mark 5? Mark 5 with the triangle heart and War Machine. I thought that sequence was badass as well. Something about the action back then seems better than how it looks now in all these Marvel shows. Do you guys agree with me? I'm just saying. But either way, Iron Man 2 for me, I really like Mickey Rourke as an actor, or at least in this film. And I'm just saying, like, everybody brought their A game for Iron Man 2. I don't know why it got a lot of hate as well. I gotta be honest, I'm giving Iron Man 2 an 8.5 out of 10. I really fucking enjoyed it, guys. Thor, the powerful but arrogant god of thunder. Thor is cast out of Asgard to live amongst humans in Midgard, aka Earth, where he soon becomes one of their finest defenders. These fucking synopsis, guys. Directed by Kenneth Branagh, starring Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Natalie Portman, Anthony Hopkins, and Idris Elba. Wow. Thor is definitely my least favorite film in phase 1, I will admit, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good film. It is a great fucking film. This is the first film that we are in a different world for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're on Asgard. We do come to Earth, but we're on Asgard. We learn about what goes on in Asgard. We are introduced to Odin, Heimdall, Loki, Thor. All, by the way, the 4 that I just named off, perfect fucking casting. Tom Hiddleston, Chris Hemsworth, Anthony Hopkins, and Idris Elba. They are fucking incredible actors, and they act the shit out of this film. And I'm gonna be honest, I love Natalie Portman, I really do, but I'm not really a big fan of Jane Foster, and to this day I'm still not on that character, but overall she was fine in this film. As the story goes, this film has a great story. My biggest issue with this film is that it is a slow type film. for me. And you really start to feel it. It does have really good visual effects, great visuals, cool ass fucking score, and I love the visit to Asgard. Looking at Asgard, it looked beautiful, and I really thought that this film looked beautiful and had a richness vibe to it. It was just, for me, the main issue was the pacing, and it really was like kind of a slow burner type film, but it doesn't mean that it's not a bad film. I think it's a good film, and it's definitely, once again, a lot of films in Phase 1 are, I don't know if this film's really underrated, but either way, guys, I'm giving Thor a 7 out of 10. Captain America, the First Avenger. Steve Rogers, a rejected military soldier, transforms into Captain America, taking a dose of the super soldier serum, but being Captain America comes at a price as he attempts to take down a warmonger in a terrorist organization known as Hydra. Guys, directed by Joe Johnston, starring Chris Evans, Hugo Weaving, Haley Atwell, Sebastian Stan, and Toby Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones. Guys, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a sucker for World War II films, or war films in general. And I can't stress this enough. Captain America, the First Avenger is a phenomenal film, and it is a masterpiece. From start to finish, this film is just awesome to watch. It's interesting, it's fun, it's charismatic, it's emotional, it's action-packed. It's everything you want for a World War II movie, honestly. This film, from start to finish, I do not get bored watching. I love Chris Evans playing the character Steve Rogers. He is perfect casting for this film. He brings a lot of emotion to the character, and you really believe everything that he's doing at the price of what he's doing it for. The visual effects, the score, the action, the fight sequences, the shield throwing, it's fucking all there. The amount of character development, character arc that this film's got about Steve Rogers is perfect. I love seeing him do his war state, or whatever you want to call him, his war acts or plays for Captain America, the Star-Spangled Banner, or Star-Spangled Man with the Plan, or whatever Tommy Lee Jones called him. But I love Tommy Lee Jones in the film as well. I don't know, something about this film I love rewatching over and over and over, and it's something about it that's relaxing. I gotta put her in the water. Guys, fucking Captain America, the First Avenger for me is a masterpiece, and I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. And here we are, no synopsis for this film, because you guys all know. Marvel's Avengers, directed by Joss Whedon, starring Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, Chris Evans, Jeremy Renner, Chris Hemsworth, Samuel L. Jackson, Scarlett Johansson, and Tom Hiddleston. Let's get this out of the first place, alright guys? This is the film that had to work, and give credit where credit's due. Joss Whedon really did nail this film. He really did a great job. I remember seeing this film May of 2012. I saw it in 3D. I was like almost 9, 10 around the time, and I remember, wow, I'm seeing a comic book on screen for the first time ever. This film was badass. It was a masterpiece. It really was. I could not believe what I was watching. The badass fight sequences, the characters playing off of one another, the development that each character's got. Jeremy Renner playing Hawkeye did a great job. Mark Ruffalo did a great job as Bruce Banner. The way that they played off of each other, Thor, Steve, and Tony, Robert Downey Jr., they all, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, they all played off of each other perfectly. There's all these scenes in this film, these action sequences that look great to this day. The visuals, the pacing of this film, the score is a beautiful fucking score. This was the film that had to work, and it really worked. The Avengers culminated, and it made a great fucking film. I think it was like 2 hours and 5 minutes only too, but it worked. All these characters fighting the Chitauri in fucking New York City with Loki, fighting Loki. It's something about this film that was just awesome. And I really wish we could go back to 2012 and restart from Phase 1 on with the MCU, because I do not like Phase 4 as of right now. There are a couple films, of course, that I like, but guys, something about this film. You know, I said in the past, in the past I said the Avengers film, the first Avengers film, 2012, may not have aged well, and I rewatched it a couple weeks ago, guys. It still holds up. It really does. It's something about it. It's so grand, epic, and everything you want it to be, and at the time too, and it's such a beautiful film. It really is. I have to give Joss Whedon credit where it's due. I know he's a fucking weirdo, but either way, Joss Whedon did make a great film, and Marvel's Avengers is a masterpiece, and it is a 10 out of 10. Well, guys, that concludes phase one, remembering phase one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2022. Guys, let me know your thoughts below. Are there any films that you guys rank higher or like a little bit more than me, or like a little bit less in phase one out of all 6 films that we just went through? Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe for more. Stay tuned for phase 2. We got another 6 films to talk about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys real soon.